Okay, my little art friends, here's the thing. Language. How do artists communicate through language, and how can you make art incorporating the concept of language? Let's look at some of today's artists and consider how they use language to communicate. Let's look at how they do it in each one of these works. This right here is called the Arnolfini Portrait, and it's a guy and his wife. And you know what? You know he's his wife because they're getting married. How do you know they're getting married? Well, if you look on the right, you can see that Van Eyck, who painted this, signed the painting right here. And that's like making it a certificate, a formal certificate. But look, there's a few other things we know. There's a dog. Well, that's a language. He used the language of the dog because dogs are faithful. And look, his shoes are off. You know why his shoes are off? He's not going to stray. But this guy's got some money, so she's not going anywhere anyway. How do you know? They got some oranges on the shelf over here near the window. And you wouldn't just leave oranges laying around unless you had some money. But here's the worst part. She might have died during pregnancy because look, on the candle above Mr. Arnolfini, the candle's lit, but on her candle, the candle's gone out. Like maybe she died. That's the Arnolfini portrait. It's a mystery. Hey, look, here's a language, sign language. Do you know what this says? It says love. You can read it if you know what sign language is. These people use sign language to make a clock. Like each one of the hands is a number. But even reading a clock is sort of language of its own. Like this is just a paint palette with like blue paint and yellow paint, but I know it's 3 o'clock. Language. People write graffiti on walls, and they write it in a language. And sometimes it's hard to read. But you know, there's even languages inside that, like the king. When you put a crown on something, that means that person is like really respected. And if you are self-respecting yourself, you might just put a king on your own artwork. Look, some people can't see, but they still want to see graffiti, right? So somebody made Braille Graffiti, and that's a language that they can read. Even though they can't see, they can just go touch it. Like this painting right here has Braille in it. And you know what it is? It's the colors. So if a blind person went up, he could touch it, and he would know there were green and blue and all kinds of crazy things in that painting. Kids have their own secret language in the scribbles and that they make on the paper. You know, like if they really like love somebody in their family, they might draw them bigger. And when they find out somebody has like fingers for the first time because they're kids and they don't know that people have fingers, then they start drawing lots of fingers on people's hands because they finally realized it. And that's like how they communicate. You don't even have to have words or anything else. You can just have pure symbols. Look, we can learn a lot about this person just by looking at these buttons. Obviously, she's a girl or a guy with long hair who likes to ride a bike and loves to take photographs. And how do we know that? By just looking at this. I didn't even read anything. You can even use your own body to like communicate. Body language. Like this waitress right here, I don't know if I want to drink that tea or coffee or whatever it is. I don't know. She doesn't look happy, but she doesn't say anything. I can just tell by looking at her. It's body language. Even animals have body language. Like which one of these dogs do you want to pet? They're basically both the same dogs. They're probably the same size. They're probably the same color. But I'm betting you want to pet the one on the right that's cuddly and friendly and not the one on the left who looks like he's going to bite my face off. You go to school every day, you drive around in your car, and you see signs, and they communicate to you with a language. Like this one on the right, which means watch out because this animal has really weird legs. Or this one on the other side, which is like a car that when it drives, it leaves S's in the street. Like how cool is that? There's lots of languages out there. HTML, that's a programming language. Music is a language. You can read that if you can read music. And some people can. I can't, but it's cool. And this right here is what secretaries used to use. It's called a short script term thing, something. I forgot what it's called. But they used to write it like really quickly when they were taking notes. And then they could read it and someone turned it into art. How cool is that? So your theme, language. How are you going to make some art incorporating it? I don't know. You'll have to communicate to me and let me know. Let's go. Make some art.